those who don't know me, my name is Dimitry Borisov. And as I just stated, I am running for District 3 County Commissioner. I have a little bit, my perspective is slightly different just because I grew up under Soviet Union and I've seen what it does, the laws in the Soviet Union, what they did to people. And what we witness here is that slow, inch by inch, how do you say it, advancement of tyranny. Basically, it's what it comes down to. And I'll give you an example. The Constitution in Soviet Union of 1936 guaranteed people freedom of assembly and freedom of expression. It's literally one sentence that guarantees all those things. But if you look at the results and the history, it shows that freedom of speech did not exist in the Soviet Union. And it was, the way it was achieved is by people in power implementing rules and regulations to stifle the public input and people's opinions, to the point where at one point in time, Soviet president says, well, people are not ready for this kind of art. And guess what happened to those artists? They got put in jail and in prison. I understand it's an extreme, but it's always start with small things. And what happens here is very disheartening to see. I believe that we as the people have a right to participate in the governmental process. For me, it was somewhat a foreign concept to understand. It literally took me a lot of time to reading and understanding it, and once I did, it was like, oh, that's cool. But it was my own experience. And now seeing what's happening here is really, once again, it's disheartening. Last year, I stood up here and asked commissioners to listen to our opinions. They don't have to agree with us, but give us a chance to speak. Then earlier this year, I did the same thing upstairs, said, let's work together, please listen to what we have to say, and please also explain the way you came to particular decisions so we could understand. We might not agree, but at least we'll understand where you're coming from. And what we get in response, silence, nod, and a smirk. And this is what it leads to. It leads to, at the end, that, how to say it, the previous political opponents are being arrested now. So this is not right. And yeah, we have to stop it, and elections matter. And all I can say is, as an elected official, if you guys give me the privilege to be your commissioner, I will encourage public participation, because that's the only way for us to know if we are doing the right thing or not. Am I representing you? Am I representing you in my decisions?
That's the big point.
And if we said something against you that we just really disagreed with, will you still hear us?
Absolutely. That's the only way to learn, to understand the people, and to look at myself, see what am I missing? What information am I missing? Am I an expert in everything? No, but you guys are as a collective group. And with my experience as the chief of the volunteer ambulance, I have to learn to listen to people's different opinions when the conflict arises, so I can solve them with the volunteers. So, which is much harder to do than when you have employees. So I think, and look, once again, look at what I have said and what I have done. So I would highly encourage public participation, because I believe it's needed.
Last week must have felt a lot like the Soviet Union, huh?
It did, and that's what triggered me to actually, that would trigger me to go back and look at the Constitution, and actually to note it's Article 50. I didn't know it was Article 50. I remember it was somewhere there. So.